Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. I have one of my own basses on the bench today. Last video we were talking about when we were finishing up the refret jazz bass and resetting all the neck and everything and doing everything that it takes to get a guitar back up and playing. I realized I started looking at the dates on the last time I strung up my own bass, and it's due. So that's what we're doing today. This is my number one. It is a jazz bass, as you can tell. I built this guitar myself. It is due. I like to do my strings every 6 months. I use Rotosound, except no substitutes. And the reason I use those, and yes, they're a little more expensive, but they last a long time. I used to put the brand, Dario on, and I had to change them every 45 days. They would get crusty and grungy. I play a lot. As I said, I built this guitar. It's a jazz bass. It's a Warmoth body, a Warmoth neck, roasted maple. It's got Schaller hardware in it, a Fender bridge, some custom electronics and control plate, as you can see. This is not the first video I've done with this bass, but it is what I would consider my number one. It is my workhorse. And I have Seymour Duncan quarter pounders in there. I like a punchy, thick sound, and I will not play an active bass. I know there's a lot of you out there that are believers, but I'm not one of them. So I have several basses in my stable, and I keep a date, the guitar, the date that I changed the strings, and this one is at 7 months, almost to the day. Today is the 11th. I changed them 7 months ago on the 12th of May in 23. So yeah, we're gonna knock these out. I was playing it today, and they're a little dead. They're not as crisp as they should be. So that being said, let's get to it. So I dated today. Let's put the date. Today is 12/11. Yep, 23. I'm going to put a little V next to it that I made a video. Yeah, so what? This is going to be this is what I do on every guitar, my own included. So you're going to see that I do the same thing on my guitars that I do on your guitars. We're going to de-string it. We are going to clean it. We are going to dress the frets because, it's been 7 months and they're getting a little grungy. They're starting to show some wear, but no divots yet. I think it's just wear from the strings. We're going to oil the neck, and we're going to do the complete restring and setup. Now, I play this bass in half step. So I have two main basses. There's this one is my number one, and my number two. I call it my number two, but it's a black J bass body with a P bass neck on it. And that one is also much lighter than this guitar. This is alder, and it is heavy. This is a very heavy bass. The Swamp Ash body on the other one is much lighter, but that's another story. So let's get to it. Yeah, I ordered a new screw gun, a new gun to do this. This thing sounds like it's going to cast its withers, and it's not even a year old. So yeah, don't buy that gun. I can't give it a good endorsement. Loud, obnoxious, sounds like it's ready to come unraveled. Now, I always say, if you're going to restring your bass at home or your guitar at home, do one string at a time. Unless you're prepared to do a full setup, which means neck relief. This one is down here, by the way, and everything else that goes along with it. Because once you knock the strings off, you're knocking all the tension off. And you may have to do that, so be careful. But today, we're taking them all off, because I got to clean it up. I have to clean my own damn stuff. Get them off, cut them, get them out of there. These have served their purpose. They are not completely grunged out. Trust me, I've seen much worse, but yeah, they're done. They are done, and I can feel too. They're just coated with all kinds of DNA from me playing it all the time, and I do play a lot. I'm in the studio all the time. I do gigs. I never know where I'm going to be playing next. Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder. Let's try not to scratch my paint. I call this my brown burst, because it's not really a sunburst, it's a brown burst. It's kind of black. I like black. I'm a black guitar guy, but this is my number one, and I like this guitar a lot. I love this instrument. It is so stable, and it plays like butter, and it is a honking bass. I mean, it thumps, and that's what you want from a bass. So, enough of my rant about my own instrument. Same product I use on all my customer guitars. You've seen this process a million times, and why wouldn't you clean your instrument if you're going to take the time to restring it, take the time to clean it? My bridge is getting a little dirty. This was a brand new instrument. I've had it for 5 years, and because I take the time to do this on a regular basis, like I said, I try to string it up every 6 months, whether I think it needs it or not. That's what I date when I did it, because you'll forget. Don't wait until your strings get so grungy you go, gee, maybe I should change my strings. This guitar is 5 years old. It's showing a little wear. You can see, I'm sure the camera's picking up on, they're not divots yet, but there's markings on the frets. These are jumbo frets. I got to tip my hat to Warmoth. I have built a couple of Warmoth guitars. I have worked on many. Generally, really good, solid products. And they are licensed by Fender. So if you buy something that's shaped like a Fender product from Warmoth, you can be rest assured it's going to perform like a Fender product. I want to get under there. And I'm not going to use that because it'll leave stuff everywhere. I like to get under the saddles whenever possible. Sometimes it's not possible. Once you get it started, you can get in there and just kind of give it the old 1-2. It's difficult to get it in there, and it's difficult to get it out. And trust me, you're not going to hurt anything. You're not going to break anything. This is steel screws and steel saddles, nice and shiny. That's what I like to see. Just an old t-shirt. Let's continue wiping it down. I'm going to wipe it again after I get done doing all this stuff. Because, oh yeah, see where the strap goes here? You get a lot of chafing. You get dirt down in here, DNA. Even on my own guitar. Dirty. stuff gets on there and it doesn't like to come off, especially where the strap goes. I mean, we're not restoring it, we're just cleaning it so that it looks as good as it could possibly look. And this, you've seen this exercise. You see me do this on every customer guitar that I have, whether it's a bass or a Cordoba that I just had in here. Or the Spanish-made, it was a Cordoba, Spanish-made acoustic classical guitar, well built. I took the time to clean that instrument, and I do this every time I string my own instrument, and I do the same process for every one of my customers. You know, whether I'm working here in my own shop or subcontracting out at the other store, this is what I do. Why wouldn't you do this? Guitars need to get cleaned. They get grungy, they get dirty, they get fingerprints, they get sweat, they get beer dripped on them. Who knows? Clean them up. They treat you well. They always play and make noise. And you want to rock and roll, treat it nice. It'll treat you nice. If you take the time to keep it nice, it will serve you well. Probably isn't a whole lot up here. I have seen some of the nastiest critters come in to the store that I work at. I subcontract out part-time. And I have seen some of the nastiest critters come in. Critters, I mean guitars, instruments that have been absolutely neglected, abused, beaten, ridden hard, and put up wet. Now, every once in a while, a gigging musician will come in. And you could tell the difference between a gigging musician, somebody who plays like myself, and someone who just abuses their instruments and doesn't care about them. But we fix them all up and give them all the same love and care. Some need it more than others. That's my point. That's what I'm saying. All right. You know what's coming next. We are going to get in the movie first. We're going to get after these frets because, because it's mine, I'm going to do all three processes. 180, and 400, and then 1,000. And you know what I'm going to do next? I'm going to pause because, you don't need to see me go over 24 frets 3 times. So stand by. So the exercise is, I use fret erasers, excellent product. Starts at 180, 400, and then 1,000 you finish it with. And when you get, I usually do this every time that I string my instrument. It takes all the tarnish and stuff that builds up on the fret wire. And stuff gets on there, and if you don't know to look at it and you don't realize it, it also affects the way that the instrument plays. So you shine them all up, clean them. Fret eraser, fabulous product. I have touted it many times. I love it. I use it. I use it at my own shop, and I use it at the other place where I subcontract out. All right, turn on your mute button. Sorry about that. Next step, and put some linseed oil on there. Boiled linseed oil. I know sometimes I sound repetitive, but for those of you who have never seen me, this is what we do. oiled linseed oil. So once you clean all that up and get the fret wires nice and shiny, put some of this stuff on there. Wood needs to be treated. I can't say it enough, and I say it ad nauseum in every video that I do this on. If I'm doing a restring and a setup, I always take the time to put some of this stuff on there. It is amazing, and it will make your fretboard come alive. Twice a year I do mine, so I'm a month past due, but if you get in the habit of doing that, get your local guy or me to do your guitars twice a year. You need to have them, whether it needs it or not, restring them, clean them, and do a complete setup. Yeah, I can't tell you how important it is. Every once in a while I do the headstock, but I don't like all this stuff getting oily. I'll usually pull all that crap out of there. Let it sit for a few minutes. Since I do mine regularly, we're just for the purposes of this video. You apply it. You saw about 3 times I dabbed it. Just put a little bit. This stuff is phenomenal. You get a little bit on the cloth. You put it on the fretboard. It's good. It's okay to leave it set for 10 or 15 minutes, but I know this board is treated regularly, and it's going to be fine. Now you get a board. If your guitar hasn't been treated in a long time or never, and yeah, I get them. Let it sit on there and maybe do 2 applications. This is the same kind of stuff that you would put on teak wood. But, when you got rosewood like this, and it's dark and it gets a lot of action on it, you treat it. Put some stuff on there. Put some boiled linseed oil. Look, if you use the cheap stuff, put something on it. Oil your neck every once in a while. I can't say it enough. I can't wait to play this girl. I got a session coming up shortly. It's the holidays, so I don't have any gigs. I work during the holidays. Well, I work on guitars, but yeah, it looks like my headstock needs to be treated. It actually took some of that oil. You see the difference instantly. It's instant gratification. Stand by while I finish cleaning this up. Be right back. Okay, so we're back. You can see the difference. I mean, I say it over and over and over again because it never ceases to amaze me. Wood is a living thing. Even though it isn't growing as a tree anymore, this wood needs to be treated on a regular basis. I do mine twice a year, and I recommend that you do the same thing. Or find someone like me who will take the effort and care to treat your instrument properly. We're going to restring. And remember, I said, for those of you that don't understand, I tune this guitar at half step. I tune my second bass. I have several basses, but I have 2 main guitars. This one and the other one that I was talking about. That one I tune at 440 pitch. This one I tune at, just move me a little bit. This one I tune at half a step down. And why is that important? Because at half a step down, you have less string tension on the neck, so you have to adjust the truss rod accordingly. You can tune up a little bit, and not have too much trouble, but if you start tuning down too much and you relieve that neck, it's going to do some weird stuff while you're playing, and nobody likes that. So I try to keep this one tuned at a half a step all the time. I don't like to change them around. That's why I have 2 main basses. One for half a step and one for 440 pitch. I'm going to use this one to wipe this neck one more time. Before I put the strings on, because once you put them on, you can't wipe the neck. Beautiful. Nice and clean. Well, this stuff does have an odor. It goes away. It dissipates in a few days. Make sure where I'm at. Yup. Something I usually always do. I will when I get around to the back of it. This guitar, like I said, is about 5 years old. And I built it. I took the parts, I wired it, and I got the body. Then I put 3 different necks on this body until I found one that I really loved. And I, ever since, have used at every opportune moment that I can, including my parts caster that I just built, roasted maple. Roasted maple. It's far more stable because more of the moisture has been brought out of it. It doesn't take 20 years for it to, get the moisture out of it. Maple's good. It's hardwood, but roasted maple. Just another tip from your Uncle Blackjack. String is going to live here. It goes across the saddle. It's going to live in this tuning peg. This is the low E. Go 1 and almost 2. And we cut them off. I'd like to see 2 wraps. 1.5 is enough. Better than Kelsey's nuts. Guess we're doing this by hand today, folks. That's what I'm talking about. And I just put batteries in that thing. When I find a product I like, you know me, I will tell you, get this product, it's awesome. But man, when I find one that just lets me down, and that let me down, and guess who it is? Yeah. I'm going to leave it there for another second. And I use their strings. I put their strings on a lot of my customer guitars. I put their bass strings on some of my own instruments, but that thing, yuck. Didn't package it right. Bass strings, it's easy, you can tell. Fat. The thickness, but with guitar strings, it's hard sometimes. But these, I can tell. So this is going to take a little bit longer because I don't have a reliable power tool. Thanks, Ernie. So I'm going to shut it down and string this up, and we'll come right back, okay? So stand by. Okay, we're back. So I got them all on there. Now, it's important to note, now, I'm sure the camera's picking up on it slightly, but on my Fender bridges, I always opt for the ridged saddle, not the smooth one. And the reason why you want to do that is so that you get correct string spacing. And we just went through this exercise on the refretted jazz bass neck that we just mated to its original body. Same sort of thing. I know from building this guitar and restringing it all the time where I have my pickups routed and the way that the strings run across the neck. I want my strings to split each magnetic pole on each pickup. And if you look at this, yep, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. The low E and the G were not. I had to pop them over one slot. Now, once you put string tension, it'll never pop out of there ever again until you loosen it all the way down. That's where it's going to live. Okay? So that's important, and that's actually extremely important. We're going to I'm going to try this new tuner. Against my better judgment and wasting video time, I'm going to see if it actually picks this up. don't know if the camera's picking up on that. Let's see if it turns green. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, it turns green. So we're going to tune up to pitch first. And then we're going to drop down a half a step. And why do we do that? It's just the way I do it, to stretch the strings a little bit, because now I know I'm going to drop down half a step. Right? Yeah, the strings are already stretching. D sharp, G sharp, C sharp. So instead of E, A, D, it's dropped down a half a step. F sharp. Then we stretch it, just like on a guitar. These strings are so stout, they hardly stretch at all. I have yet to have it go out of tune. Once I get it set up where I like it, they usually are very stable. Now, not a bad tuner. I'm not crazy about it. I like my Fender one better. I have a different clip on, and I also have my chromatic tuner up here. The usual process. You know how this goes. We're gonna check neck relief now, and it should not be different from 7 months ago, but you never know, and that's why we check it. So you capo at the first fret, you hold your finger at the body joint, and you take a 12 thousandths at the 7th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's a little tight. Why would that be? That would be because the neck is the only thing that can change. Usually you won't lose anything on your string height, your action, or your pickups, but the neck is wood. We live in Florida. It's really dry right now, so we have wild swings in humidity. It could be really humid, a lot of moisture in the air, or really dry, almost arid. So yeah, I'm going to have to get in there and relieve that slightly. Sighting down the neck, yeah, it actually looks a little straight. It's not real bad, but it's enough for me to go, yeah, I'm going to do it. And I don't remember. Oh, wait a minute. I think I actually put a piece of tape so I know which one it is. Yep, there it is. Now, I have routed out my pick guard so that I don't have to use a ball end on it. This should fit in there. Grab that, which it does, without marring anything up. Now, I need to put a little more relief in it. I want it to be a little more bowed. Not a lot, slightly. We're maybe 2/1000ths of an inch off. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. It is. You need to make sure that you're in adjustment. How do we do that? Left is loose. That's going to relieve tension on the truss rod and put more bend in it. Banana. All right. If you tighten it to the right, it's going to put more back bow, and back bow is bad. So I'm going to put, yep, right about there, and it's probably going to be enough because this neck is so responsive. It's probably going to be enough. That was maybe an 1/8 to 1/4 of a turn to the left to relieve some of the tension. And we should have just the right amount of relief now. If not, we'll do it again. It's definitely better. pushing up on the string at all. It's got too much tension. I'm going to do it just a little bit more. Remember, the left is loosening it, which is going to put more relief in it. Take the tension off. Right is going to put more tension on the truss rod and make it want to back bow. And this is a lottery. Imagine if I hadn't done this little process, every time I wanted to adjust it, I would have to remove the neck. This is the only thing that I disagreed with Leo Fender. I would have to remove the neck, make the adjustment, screw the neck back on. And by the way, you got all the strings in the way and everything happening there. That's why this. And after a while, even Leo said, oh no, we need to be able to get a tool in there without removing the neck. You start removing the neck too many times on an instrument like this, and you run into what we ran into on the black bass that we just finished. The holes get all whopped out and you can't tighten it down anymore. I think I'm going to live with that. It's just kissing. Yep, it's just kissing it. 12 thousandths of an inch at the 7th. It's just kissing. I could probably loosen it slightly more, but I know what's going to happen. In 4 months, when it starts to get humid and the air gets thick with water again, it's gonna go out of shape again. Generally not as much with these necks. This is the first time I've had to adjust that neck in a long time. So we got that done, we got that done. Let's start tuning it up again. And this time I'm going to use the chromatic tuner. I want precision. Everything is up. Yeah, if you go too far with the neck adjustments, you're gonna hate yourself, because then you got to come back. And this thing may settle after a day or two, and I'll come back and it went too far. E flat. Baby, get up there. Dead on. Ooh, that one's a little flat. Yeah, that one's a little flat. So we need to bring that one up slightly. I just got done saying usually this stuff doesn't change. That means we want the saddle to go that way. Nope. It happens. You never know. Intonation. Dead on. That's all it took, was just intonation is the distance between here and here. Okay, if it's flat, it's too long. If it's sharp, it's too short of a distance. Dead on. I love this instrument. Dead on. Dead on. Yahtzee. Okay, so the last thing we usually check in a regular setup, I have it in my other thing, is pickup height. And that's important, and it should not have changed, although I said that about the intonation. I don't know why that would have changed. Pickup height. One-eighth of an inch. That is standard. Bass, guitar, 6-string, Les Paul, Strat, it doesn't matter. On the bass side, you push it on the last fret. It should be 1/8 of an inch. No more, no less. On the treble side, you want 3/16, or I'm sorry, 3/32 of an inch. That's why I only use those two. And that is standard. I don't care what kind of string instrument you're using, as far as electric instruments go. Why are you standing up? Get down. There we go. That is a setup on my #1 jazz bass. Warmoth body, Warmoth neck. We saw everything we did. We cleaned the frets. We oiled the board. We set the intonation, and one of them was actually out a little bit. We play at half a step on this guitar, and as always, I'm going to let my own instrument sit for a day, and I'm going to check it again tomorrow. But everything we did today should be dead on. And I mean dead on, balls accurate. I don't know if we'll get noise out of this amp. It's been giving me trouble lately. As you play, months and months and weeks go by, you just don't realize, I'm sorry, I don't know if you can see me, you don't realize how dead your strings get. I just spent 2 hours in the studio playing this before I decided I was going to make a video and do this little exercise, and wow, what a difference. Sharp, punchy. Yeah, I went 7 months on this one. I might start knocking it back to 5 months. I think 7 months is definitely too long. 6 months might be in the middle, but I think I'm going to knock it back and change them every 5 months, and then we'll see how that is, because definitely, damn, what a difference. Blackjack with 396 Guitars. Thanks for playing along. If you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. Make comments. We're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We can fix your guitar no matter what's wrong with it. We'll talk soon.